Hello friends and welcome to Conversations with Finatoniq. I have a very special guest with me today, someone from whom I have learnt a lot about investing, Mr. Srikanth Bhagwat of Hexagon Wealth. Srikanth has over 3 decades of experience in the investment world, and I'm sure we will be, the wiser for it today when we finish our conversation with Srikanth. Welcome, Srikanth, to Conversations with Finatoniq.
Thanks, Harish. Thanks for having me here.
Delight. It has been one of my, bucket list wishes to have you on a conversation with us, and it's happening today. Thank you once again so much. Srikanth, I've always known you as a, very erudite, highly learned. I used to come prepared whenever I used to meet you because I shouldn't be on the, the bad side of your knowledge. So let's start off with, can you recommend a good book for an investor and a good book for an advisor that can benefit them, both in knowledge, information and wisdom?
Oh, sure. That's a good question to start off with, Harish. For investors, I would recommend they read this very small book by John Kenneth Galbraith, A Short History of Financial Euphoria. And in these few pages, he puts out all the bubbles and scams of the last few 100 years.
Wow.
And believe me, Harish, each of them, there's a lesson to be learned for an investor, how not to get carried away.
Okay. How has he managed to put the history of scams and bubbles and euphorias in a small book? I thought that would be an encyclopedia by itself.
I agree. He's been very concise and short.
Okay.
That makes it a delight to read.
Wonderful. And for investors, for investment advisors?
For advisors, okay, there was this one book which influenced my decision making quite heavily, and I continue to be influenced by this book. A book by this gentleman, Peter Tanos.
Okay.
And the book is called The Wealth Equation.
Okay.
Okay. And in that book, he had managed to interview all the greats of the fund management industry across whether growth, momentum, value investors. And we get a great insight on how these people think. And then he ends with how to profile investors very well. Okay, it was the first genuine psychometric profiling that I had read about, and I used it. And now, of course, I use far more advanced tools that are available. But I actually copied those tools that were there in the book and used them for many years to great advantage.
Interesting.
Yes.
To be frank, I haven't read this book. Now I've got a book that I must read now.
Yes.
Thanks for telling me about this Tanos book.
Yeah. It's an old book, but remains timeless.
What more do we need? Srikanth, if I recollect properly, you were one of those who 2 decades back, I know, used to do extensive research. Okay. And many terms which which I came to know only through your research, like, risk adjusted returns, upside capture and stuff like that. You were a very, very analytical and research oriented person who used to, properly screen and filter schemes before you used to recommend them. In today's scenario, with things like passives taking precedence and all that, how important is this basic research for an MFD's practice?
It remains the backbone of the practice.
Okay. How?
And if without this, typically one would be spineless and could collapse any moment. Okay.
Strong words.
Yes, you could be hit by information deluge from any corner. And your USP has to be your own research, the way you see it, your interpretation, and there has to be a rationale for the interpretation. You're not going to copy paste. This is what is going to keep the distributor of tomorrow sustainable and growing.
3-year ratings, 5-year ratings, 5-star ratings, 3-star ratings don't work?
It could work for a kindergarten distributor. Okay. But over time, you have to be able to understand each of these factors separately and see how they would be useful for that particular investor.
Okay. And does your research also include conversations with fund management team to know this, the subjective, to know whether your heart agrees with your brain?
Yes. So we continue to have these conversations, but before the conversation, we study about the fund's performance and history and as much detail as possible before getting into a conversation.
Okay.
And that conversation more or less would either confirm what we have studied or refutes what we have studied. Either way, it would lead us to a conclusion. But we do not want to second guess a fund manager.
Okay.
If a fund manager in his or her wisdom has chosen a set of stocks, we don't want to question that.
Okay.
We'd rather go into the historical performance of that manager and see whether they've been successful in generating alpha or successful in keeping volatility low, as the brief may be. Have they achieved it? If they have achieved, then I should not be questioning what they're doing today.
Do you also tackle things like style drift, a value fund manager having a small cap momentum stock for that extra kicker and returns and stuff like that?
Yes. So this is where the job of the advisor becomes easier given the amount of information available. I don't have to calculate style drift. I can get this straight out of a research box, whichever platform is you're using. If you know how to use that parameter, it is enough.
Correct.
I don't have to calculate it every day. Though one should know how it is calculated to understand the implications.
Okay.
So it's understand to know what the math behind it is, how it is to be used, and then use readily available data to your advantage.
Absolutely.
So yes, all these are important.
Great. Just one final question to you, Srikanth. You have, I've seen, you have introduced me to a few of your clients also. You have a fine set of clients, very successful business owners, very successful professionals, very affluent retired investors. What is something that you have learned from your investors? A life lesson, a professional lesson, a lesson in humility or whatever. What is one lesson that you have learned from your investors?
Yeah, I've learned a lot actually from my investors. And I keep telling my team, the most difficult investors are the ones who have taught me the most.
Wonderful.
They are people typically of, say, a CXO profile who are used to certain processes and systems in their MNCs and large organizations. They expect the same out of me.
Correct.
And they drive me till I get what they are satisfied with. So that means I go through a lot of rubbing, a lot of ego driven into the ground.
Correct.
Till I get it right. The same way I would drive my team, my investors drive me. One. Second one, which I'll never forget, is this typical CXO, retired CXO client. He was upset with me for a certain reason. But he says, Mr. Bhagavat, do you know what assume means? And I did not want to take the risk of interpreting it, given the tone that he asked me. I said, sir, please enlighten me. Assume, ASS, as you or me. Do not assume. If you are assuming, ensure there's sufficient rationale behind it.
Correct.
Otherwise, either you are an ass or I am an ass for believing you.
Absolutely.
Ensure process, ensure rationale. Logic has to be clear.
Wow.
I never forget that. And I tell every newbie who comes to my office, I explain what is assume.
You have learned from the school of hard knocks of your investors.
You bet.
Very good. Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, Srikanth. Yeah. Thank you. You have shared, such good pearls of wisdom, which I'm sure will, benefit the broader investment community. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.